In this extensive migration demo, I'd like to take you through an open balance migration, followed by a detailed migration. Why would you choose this approach? Well, when you have a lot of data to migrate and the system and employees can do little until the migration is completed, you want to be done quickly. You do this by first transferring open balances of the general ledger and sub-projects. If details are desired, you can load them at a quiet moment outside of the migration and counterpost the balance. This can be done while the company is operational again. Although this step is a bit awkward, it's the least disruptive to the business process. Moreover, it's also nice to show that the system can switch between an open balance and a detailed migration with a few simple clicks. Okay, let's start with the end in mind. How does the target system want the data to be delivered? We load or upload the template. In this example, we prepare a memo, journal entry, to load the financial data. An input file for the cockpit would also work. It doesn't matter for the system. We'll come back to this. We retrieve the transactional data, in this case from the CGI3, from SAP R3, from the source system, and a conversion file in which the migration conversion is recorded. An advantage of a conversion file is that you set your migration and configuration parameters once, but can easily and quickly adjust or switch between the different migrations within this software. This is where the magic happens. Unfortunately for now, in this demo, I can't go deeper into this, but in principle, this part is set up by me or someone from my team. And the button operation during the actual migration can also be transferred to an internal employee or a cockpit operator. In the first column, we see the column titles of the input file, as SAP S4 wants to see them, in our case, appearing one to one. Then we configure how the data should behave in this overview. Is it text, a date, a number, or a currency? How do periods and commas behave? Where should the system get the unique values from? How is this transformed and mapped? Do we include all data or do we also exclude a part? And how should the contra account look like? Then we are going to link the mapping that we have defined in the formulas. Note the time, this always takes a while. The system starts restructuring the data, translating to and from, and any exclusions. The system is now processing 1 million records. We deliberately chose Python because its software is used by data science and large data sets. This tooling is not limited by standard import and export templates, but is fully flexible to set up according to company-specific wishes. The data transformation takes place with formulas as known in Excel. Moreover, you can save and load templates yourself, allowing you to easily switch between your open balance and detailed migration and between your balance sheet, profit and loss account and your work in progress migration. So 1 million records translated to the new structure of the target system. We're now starting the open balance migration. Note the time again, this also takes a while. The system is now adjusting the structure to the journal entry structure. How many lines are allowed in a journal entry? How many journal entries are allowed in a journal input file? What is a delimiter? So, and the 1 million records have been translated. I'd like to see the journal entry, but more important, I want to see the validation overview. And that's ready immediately. Let's look at the source for a moment. This is the input file we can see here. We have 1 million and one line here. I didn't count the title. It has an amount of 170,500,000. We see back 1 million records excluding the title and 170,500,000. That results in 2,123 journal entry lines, of which 101 are contract accounts, which are created by the system. These don't count. We exclude a certain general ledger account. This falls out of our migration, and the 0 lines don't count when they are totalized. And these lines are all combined into our open balance journal entries, resulting in a sum of 1 million records with an amount of 170,500,000. We look at the details in a detailed overview. We see each transformation set out, so company number from to, there we see no delta load. At the general ledger account level, we see that these two accounts go to this account and therefore also have this amount as a result at the line level. We see differences, but on open balance, it cancels it out. This continues throughout the entire transformation. At the end, we see that we have no delta. Then we look at the projects from 2. Here we see no differences at the project line level, so not in total either. We have spaces here for a sign-off for the relevant officials. We'll supplement this document with some screenshots of the source system, and after loading also of the target system for an accounts audit afterwards. Well, we have been working on the migration for a while now. Let's speed things up a bit, because once configured, it's just a matter of retrieving a template. Let's now start with the detailed migration, and instead of retrieving 3 import files, we'll directly retrieve the template for this object. We'll need to run the data through the translation table once more for the transformation. Although the extract and load process steps are not handled in our system, they do belong to the working method that represents the entire process. In the extraction, we ask ourselves, what's there? How does the migration landscape look like? Are we going to perform any more repetitive actions? Are there deviations in other migrations within this company? And do we find any synergy? The transformation phase is about where do we want to go? What's there already? What should it look like? Where will it land? In the load phase, the most important thing is measure twice and cut once, so you're 100% sure what the outcome will be at the final go live. From the transformation onward, we already test the validation because it's an easy step in the software to see if the mapping is complete. The validation is about the recording and transfer to the account. Great, the conversion has taken place. The system now needs to go through the conversion data to set up the journal entry structure again. It looks at how many journal lines can be in a journal entry and how many journal entries can be in an input file. Pay attention to the time, it takes a while again. We'll see different journal entry input files being created here in the bottom. Because we're not balancing now, but migrating all details, the system generates tailor-made input files with structured validation reports and thereby supporting better process control and substantiation for the account audit afterwards. The software is based on proven and reliable techniques from practice. The output is predictable and reproducible through standardization, and the process is standardized and verifiable for account audits afterwards. That's done. I'm very curious about the journal entries, but again, we first look at the validation report. Well, we've loaded the same source file as in the open balance migration, only the conversion file was different. There was no totaling. Still the same general ledger accounts excluded, the same amount, 1 million records were retrieved. Again, 170,500,000 euros. So many general ledger accounts were created in the 25 journal entry files of about 40,000 entry lines each. Then we look at the details. Here too, all transformations are set out from 270,500,000, no delta load. Here too we see again that the 2 general ledger accounts migrate to 1. This total we see here, at line level we have a difference, but in total we have no difference. No delta load at general ledger account level. In translation from 2 project number we see no deltas either. So we have an open balance migration. There's still room for signatures of the relevant officials. It's important that we supplement this document in our recording structure with print screens from our source system, showing our starting point and with print screens from our target system after implementation, so we can determine that the data was also arrived correctly. We can then print a PDF of this, which can no longer be edited, making it a good file for an accounts audit afterwards. Okay, what have we done? Let's look at an example from a few files. We've migrated the open balance. We've migrated the details and we've retrieved the source file. Let's first look at the source file of this project. In the transformation, we excluded this general ledger account, so we exclude it again now. We are left with 81 lines with a title bar and 9,663 euros and 40 cents. Then follows the open balance migration, in which we see the same amount come back. Contra account aside, more lines from this project fall into that. The balance closes. Then we post the detailed journal entry instead. Again, selecting the correct WBS balance 0. And 9,663 euros and 40 cents. So what happened? We posted the journal entry on a project account with an amount and posted the general ledger account against it in a balance sheet. Then we post this account against it here again. And what's left is actually all the details. That's it. Okay, so migrating to another system or from another system is no problem at all for our financial migration software. Our financial migration software is not limited to just SAP R3 ECC or SAP S4 HANA. It can do all kinds of financial migrations. If you have any questions, please contact us. Thank you for watching.